The last place I wanted to be was Frostnipistan.
This one's wife. Ooh, famous person. Gimme. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. There is an interesting paradox when it comes to this one's wife. She is very well known. Famous, some of you may say infamous, known around the world. But what is she actually known for? Being an entrepreneur? Philanthropist? Content creator? Esteemed director? Politician? Brilliant influencer? Talented actress? She was known to a degree for being an actress by a smallish group of people, but the reason she's known is that she managed to marry, through ensnaring, a ginger bloke who happens to be a prince. If she had married anybody else that wasn't well known, we wouldn't know about her because her talent wouldn't have propelled her to worldwide infamy. Instead, we only know about her because she managed to ensnare ginger bollocks. Thus, although she is well known, she's not actually well known for anything other than being married to Prince Harry. In other words, there's no substance. Now, she's not the only person that is famous for being famous. There have been many instances of this. But most famous people are famous because they're really good at sport, or they're a brilliant actor or actress, that they are a well-known politician, that they are involved in industry, that they are a talented author or screenwriter or director, that they are known in some capacity, that they are a brilliant musician, a fantastic singer, and thus their fame comes from an actual talent. But this one's wife doesn't have that. And so what happens is that even though she has managed to scramble into the rarefied stratosphere of the famous, it's only because of her husband, which means that she needs to involve herself with famous people to make herself look good. This is part of the character trait acquisition of the narcissist, that because she has nothing about her in herself, she has to take those shards and segments and pieces and fragments from other people and utilize them to make it seem like she is interesting and popular. Parasitic as ever, she latches on to others, which means, for instance, that she wanted to go on Ellen DeGeneres' show, that she wanted to speak to Oprah, which was also for other reasons, besides being seen with a worldwide famous person, that she wanted to be known amongst the A-list, that she wanted to fraternize with the likes of Gwyneth Paltrow, who basically took to mocking her and wouldn't piss on her if she was on fire, that she wanted to be pals with Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom and for people to know about that essentially anybody that was famous she would latch onto. You may recall some time ago that there was much mirth about the desperation that she exhibited by contacting famous people to hang out, and they were thinking, who the fuck are you? Well, she's at it again. Once again, turning the Invictus Games into the This One's Wife Games, ensuring that she's the one that's seen. And this time, she does it in relation to a famous person. Who is it? Well, let's have a look at the video footage. Yes, it's Nelly Furtado. I didn't necessarily recognise her at first, but that's not necessarily a problem for me. Nelly Furtado, in case you're not familiar with who she is a Canadian singer and songwriter, and she sold over 45 million records, including 35 million in album sales worldwide. Her trip-hop-inspired album back in 2000 was called Whoa Nelly. It was a critical and commercial success, and it had 2 top 10 singles, I'm Like a Bird and Turn Off the Light. She also had successful singles with Promiscuous, which featured Timbaland, Maneater, Say It Right, and All Good Things Come to an End. Thus, certainly at the beginning of the 2000s, she was hugely successful, but she has continued with her albums, releasing them in 2012, 2017, and only last year, and toured back in 2017. So she's still active with regard to the creation of music. And naturally, as a famous Canadian, she's been roped in to the games in Vancouver, and we see her being commandeered by this one's wife, who in the short piece of footage that you've just seen is alongside Furtado, again asserting control physically by placing her hand upon her and making it about her by mugging for the camera as Harry walks by, photobombing their little bit of film. It demonstrates that Harry's got at least a sense of humour, but what you see is a narcissist latching on to somebody famous. Ah, famous person. Gimme, I can make use of them. This is what this one's wife does. This is how she behaves. Because she has nothing about her, she needs to utilise other individuals. And this time, it's Nelly Furtado as she appears in the footage with her, mugging, as I say, to the camera, posing, playing along, as then Harry walks by in the background. Now, on this occasion, facade management remains intact. She doesn't scowl at him for interrupting her moment, and instead laughs along, as Furtado does. Facade management remains intact. But it is another example of the parasitic this one's wife, utilising other people for the purposes of the pursuit of the prime aims, for piggybacking off them in order to be seen. Because she has nothing about her. She is empty, and she has to rely upon others to provide substance to the construct which is held together by her fuel. Once again, these games provide another example of her narcissism in action. Because she's making them all about her, because she's appearing so often in the footage, in the photographs, in the news articles, time and time again, it provides me with an opportunity to interpret and explain her behaviour vis-à-vis her narcissism. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for watching.